We're now live. Let's start the clock. Okay. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
Right. We're live today on Facebook, on my profile, on the live video hub page, on YouTube and LinkedIn. If you're watching from any of those, say hello and thank you for watching. It is also Saturday, 11 o'clock. And if you're listening on Royston Radio, welcome to the show. We're just waiting, Peter and I, patiently, for John to arrive. John may have gone to collect a parcel. That's what normally happens at this time. Okay, just hope everything's okay. But we know he's around. We've seen him on Messenger. So we're just trying to count down, let everything connect, and then I shall remove the card. Because you can't see what we're actually doing on radio. We've actually got a card showing, and I'm about to 3, 2, 1. Okay, and let's go. Okay, so got myself and Peter, and Sue. Yeah, wait. I'm just. You weren't there a moment ago.
I am now.
Right. Okay. Good morning, Peter.
Morning.
How are things in Aberdeen?
Well, personally, I'll tell you about the weather. The weather was quite sharp this morning, and well, that's my first call. Well, second call today. It's quite sharp, and it's the first day that I haven't been rushing out the door at 7:30.
Yeah,
They've quietened down. Having said that, I'm going to have to leave for a minute, and I'll pass you on to John yourself, and I'll turn the radio and everything down because I need to make a call. You can explain to the people why.
Yeah, Peter actually works. John and I sort of work. Morning, John. How are things in Solihull?
It's pissing down with rain here, is the only description for the weather.
Oh.
It's absolutely bucketing down.
That's not good, because whatever you get will head south. At the moment, we're in wonderful Wiltshire and Devizes. It's quite sunny. In fact, it's blindingly sunny. It's not very hot. Alexa, what's the temperature?
At the moment, it's 14 degrees Celsius. Today, you can expect a high of 21 degrees.
So we're going to get 21 degrees later in the day. But it is beautiful. Autumn day, really. Yeah. So yeah. Right. Okay. I've made a change this week. You probably don't know, so I'm going to tell you. I now go for a walk at 8 o'clock every morning. Rather than going at 11:30, I now out the door at 8 o'clock and walking. Most just an hour and doing just over 3 miles, which is quite good. But we've got in Devizes, we've got a new park run. Now, park run, if you don't know, is a British institution which has been going for quite a few years, and worldwide 275,000 people gather in local parks to run, jog or walk 5 kilometers. And we've got a new park walk in Devizes, park run in Devizes. It's called Quakers Walk, and it had its first run last weekend. They did the first ever run last weekend, and it was very successful. And I was up there walking this morning. In fact, I've been twice this week, checking out the course and just finding out where they were going out of curiosity. But the thing about park run is that people have a home run, which is basically where they're based. So we're based, I know it sounds silly, we're based in Melksham. We go to Melksham. But people actually try and do an A to Z of park runs. So every park run's got its own name. So you work through the alphabet A to Z. There's been a shortage of queues. So Quakers Walk is going to be very popular as a tourist park run. There are going to be hundreds of people every weekend coming over to Devizes to take part in a Quakers Walk park run at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. And it's pretty good. I mean, Quakers Walk was a church walk as the name implies, and it is a sort of 5-kilometer circuit. Part of it is a tree-lined avenue, which is brilliant. Peter's back. A tree-lined avenue, and then it goes right, and it actually goes through a housing estate, the edge of a housing estate, past about 100 different houses. And I can just imagine sort of when they woke up on last Saturday morning, and we got 50 people going through last week, but in future weeks they're going to have 200 people walking past their front lawns every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. Their peace and quiet will disappear. Mind you, we're not noisy, but so a new park run, Quakers Walk, and it's going to be successful because it starts with a queue. There you go.
They don't get their oats at the beginning of the end. Quaker oats? No.
No.
That was supposed to be humorous.
It was good. It was good. Basically, they're going to have to park on the wharf, which has got charges, so they're going to have to pay for parking. And the recommended watering hole is the Black Dog Cafe, who are going to be quids in, because they've been open a year, independent business, man and wife, and they're going to have a lot of customers at 10 o'clock every Saturday morning. So win-win there. Is there a park run near you, Peter?
Well, there's two park runs in Aberdeen, or there was 2 park runs in Aberdeen. One is just across the road from in Hazelhead Park, but it was cancelled because the woods are in a very dangerous situation. They're still, after the storm, trees were blocking the roads and everything. Well, the paths, and there's still some trees in a dangerous situation. So they've had to cancel that park run. I don't know if it's going to open it, but we've got 2. The one beside me is actually the worst one because it's actually on a hill. You do the park run on the hill, slight incline. For the other one is down on the beach, and we've got about a 2-mile beach front, and you come along from one end and you run and you go down the steps and come back to the other end. But very boring. I've never done that one. It can be very windy as well, and and you can actually run it faster because it's on the flat.
Yes. Yeah. It makes a difference.
Yeah, but what I like about a park run when you see it is you see everybody turning up, right? You'll notice it, and you see all shapes and sizes.
Indeed, you do.
And you see old people, and you see young people, and you see people running with their dogs, and it's actually a great atmosphere. And the wait till the last person comes in.
Oh yeah.
No matter what time it is.
Yeah, I mean it's free to enter. It's marshalled by volunteers.
Yeah.
I'm volunteering this weekend.
Yeah.
And it's just a place to meet people. We've made many friends over the sort of 35 weeks we've been doing it. So yeah, it's just a celebration of just the fact that you can go out, walk or jog or run.
Yeah.
I mean, the fastest people will do it in the 16 to 18 minutes.
Yeah.
If you're young and athletic, and then as you say, that's the front end, and then you get to most people around about 25 to 35 minutes, and then you get the walkers who come in from 45 minutes through to an hour. So it's over in an hour. I
actually run it in 50 minutes, and it's depressing because when I'm running up, the first one come down, he finishes in 15. He says, "Keep going." Broke my heart.
Yeah. We have Bruton Park Run in Solihull. You used to live pretty close. I don't know if you know, but the top of the high street, there are 2 parks. One is called Bruton Park and the other one is called Malvern Park. They were separate once, but somebody donated the land to join them together.
Right.
So the park run never leaves the parks, but it is 2 circuits of the entire parks.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't go on any roads at all. It's
Yeah.
all on the structural road. They're not roads, but large footpaths that you can find within the park itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about a park run. It has to be within an enclosed space, nowhere near traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Park runs, 9 o'clock every Saturday morning. Just turn up with your trainers on, and you can walk, run, or jog. And if you search for park run on Google, you'll find one near you.
Yeah, the one by us at the one end has a very large lake, and it goes round the lake, then up to the other end,
Yeah.
goes around all the play equipment and the fancy entrance, and then comes back down, and they do 2 laps.
Do you know, it's funny. You know, I don't have a car. I go about my van with the name in it. And it's quite amusing the amount of work I get because of the van, you know. I don't even mention it. And they'll say, are you the guy that goes to park run? Yeah. Are you the guy that does the Monday night running? Yeah. Peter, is that your firm that does the cycling? You know? And you do the cycling, yeah. Somebody phoned in the other day and I seen her name. And then when I phoned her back, she says, are you Fiona that sings his friend? I goes, yeah. And I met this woman the week before. I met Fiona for a cup of tea and that.
Yeah.
And she didn't realise the name of my business because I didn't punt it, you know.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, what a way to meet neighbours on the street I've got. I just watch strangers coming up the path and I go, oh, here we go. Are you the guy that does the wasps? I said, that's me. Yeah. No, you won't believe this. I don't charge them my immediate street.
All right. Okay.
I do it free. That way I can park my vans.
All right. Okay.
No, at one stage I had 4 vans outside my home, you know, and for some reason. But no, it's amazing the amount of people will come to me. And yeah.
You've said there's a difference today, Stephen. We've noticed a very bright difference today. You don't normally wear such bright shirts.
Oh, Stephen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, possibly. I didn't wear this when I went out, but I did change. Okay.
You normally wear blue or green shirts, don't you?
That's true. Oh, you've not seen I've got a bright orange one. I might wear that next week. No, I won't.
No, just to let you know.
If you wear your bright orange one, we'll think you're going to dig the road up.
I'll let you know what happened last week. I was all set. Andy, my friend, come home from somewhere and he said, I bought you a gift. What's that? It plugs into the car.
Yeah.
So then you can put a laptop into with a 240 plug. Did I not bring the lead with me last week? And I was all set up.
Yeah.
And that's what happened, guys. So I did think, I was quite annoyed about it because why haven't they, after all this time, got it in an Android, the app for Android?
An app for Android to do what?
They won't. Basically, when they developed the Apple app, the iOS app, it was basically, it took a while. It took longer than they thought it would, and there's so many different apps that you can use on mobile that it didn't have a future. Yeah. So. Yeah, and basically developers develop for Apple because it's just one operating system. Android is so many different systems. Yeah, but it's just not worth it. Yeah, really isn't worth it. It's just true story. Angelica used to be on Udemy teaching courses. Yeah, but for the past sort of 9 months, she's had all her German language courses have been on a UTeach platform, which means she can integrate it into a website. Yeah. So you can go to a page on our website and all the courses are there and she's selling direct, cutting out the middleman. And you can either take the courses on desktop or you can take them on your mobile.
Yeah.
But if you want to go on mobile, then obviously they've got to work. And there's a technical problem with the Android version, which they never sorted out. And now they've come along and said, right, we've got this spanking new program that your students can use. Okay. All we want for this spanking new program is £500 and £125 a month.
To Angelica?
Yeah. Yeah. And Angelica was very polite, but she did tell them the current program doesn't work. If you think I'm forking out for a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they think they're coining it. I mean, UTeach do have quite a few thousand tutors on there. And if you take that and say half of them sign up, then if £500 a throw, they make money. And then £1,500 a year to keep it going. Yeah.
And that's why I really don't advertise. The only thing I really advertise is pay-per-click, right?
Yeah.
And Google guaranteed. I will not join these things now that they can turn around and say, yeah, my platform's giving you all this money. Now, as a prep, we're putting a prep. So the secret is to do your own marketing and get your own marketing. I'm actually getting more searches now than I am pay-per-click.
Yeah.
Which I'm very happy about. Yeah.
Good.
So it's all about fighting them. Did you know that Google gives you a free website?
Yeah.
I know you would have said yeah, but a lot of people don't know that. So I'm working on one in Northern City up in a place called Peterhead. And it's google.com/whatever. But it works in the background, and you've got links back to your own web page.
That's what it's really useful for. But you still need to post stories on it.
Well, that's what we're doing. So it gives it Google juice, yeah? And it pushes your own website up with genuine links because Google won't punish you for their own platforms.
No, but they'll give more effort into a website on their platform if it does things as opposed to is just a link farm.
Yeah. No, I'm going to be putting things on it, you know, and see what happens there. So that's basically it. So a lot of Google juice I'm working on just now. Yeah. Right. Anything happening in politics at the moment? Have you heard President Biden's getting indicted?
We heard that before with the Orange Man, didn't we? And it never really happened.
Basically, you got ex-President Trump who's trying to be President Trump next year, and he is mired in multiple cases. And as a distraction, that's in my view, Peter. As a distraction, the Republicans are chasing something where there is no real evidence.
Oh, right, okay. I must come back on that.
Okay.
Well, they've got two people from their inland revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've come up and whistleblowed. They know what's going on, and they've been silenced. I believe they've lost their jobs because of it, right? And McCarthy, who's the leader of the House, they've impeached him because there's about 24, if not more, shell companies that money is going through.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a guy in jail who admitted he's in jail. And who was he? Devon Archer's his name. He was President Biden's son's partner.
Yeah.
And he's in jail. He's jailed. And so, whatever you want to believe, it's good for the goose. It's good for the gander.
I don't believe. I can see that the ex-president did encourage people to attack the Capitol. No qualms about that one.
No way.
That physically happened. Yeah, we saw it.
They opened the gates. Look up a guy called Ray Epps. That's all I'm saying. Ray Epps. Standing there with a MAGA hat going, push open, do this, do that. He's disappeared off the face of the earth because he was FBI, encouraging him to do it. He was on their wanted list, and then the picture came off, disappeared. The only person that was killed was a woman, Ashley Babbitt. The policeman that shot her is gone. No investigation, nothing. But you wouldn't know about that because I see alternative media.
I mean, the biggest problem is at the moment there is going to be a presidential election. Nobody can change that. It probably will be Biden versus Trump, and if Trump doesn't get in, it's civil war. And
well, I spoke to an American who says, I'll tell you, don't be surprised if there's a civil war in America.
Yeah.
Because that's the talk.
Well,
That's the talk.
For 3.5 years, part of the Republican Party has believed everything Trump's told them.
Not everybody. Not everybody. Have you seen the mayor of New York recently? The black mayor of New York.
No.
Now, look it up. A few months ago, he says, we need to help the immigrants. Forward a few months. Do you know what he's saying? We need to stop this. We need to close the border. We've got too many immigrants coming into New York.
Mm-hmm.
He's crying because they can't. They're putting them from the border into New York because we're a sanctuary city. They can't take any more. He's pleading with his president to stop. And they're not doing it. Now, you've really got to look at things from both sides, guys. Don't be blinkered. But you'll find that guy on YouTube, no problem. And people are saying, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
They've no accommodation to put them. He's pleading with them. Pleading.
We've got a situation where the things that I can't believe and things that you can't believe, Peter,
Right.
for different reasons, and you take your news where you can. Now then, because we've got immigration problems. But no, we've got tiny immigration problems, blown out of all proportion. And despite the Tory government's promises to cut illegal immigration into the UK, it's not happening.
No, not much wonder, because the blob's behind it. Everything they try to do, someone says behind the scenes, we'll see about that. We'll scupper them here, we'll scupper them there, we'll scupper them everywhere, because we're the blob. Everything that they've said to do, someone put an end to it. How could a barge that people have lived in the North Sea and etc., all the oil workers lived in it, no problem. So why can't immigrants go there? What's the problem?
All right. Okay, let's come back to devisers then.
No. Oh, come on, have a debate.
Look,
I've got a question for Peter.
Yeah.
Are you 1 in 5,436,600?
You've confused me.
1 in 5,436,600.
Well, I can't answer that until tell you what one I would be.
It's the newly announced highest ever population of Scotland.
Oh.
I must be one of them then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, there's more people in London, and the greater Birmingham area is not far behind either.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you what's happening in Scotland, what I've seen. Nothing. Nothing has been said about Nicola Sturgeon for weeks.
She did give a speech the other day, though, didn't she?
I haven't seen anything on X, as it's called now. Usually I see someone every day. And I have a look.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just nothing. Used to get it every day. So, right, have you seen Sir Keir Starmer? His policy putting in. He's saying, treat smugglers like terrorists, freeze assets and restrict movement, pursue EU-wide returns deal. We're trying that now. Scrap Tory unsustainable plans to ban cross-channel migrants from claiming asylum. Do you think you'll manage it?
I hope somebody can, because we need it to not be the headline news, because the numbers involved in terms of our population are minuscule. Yeah.
No. Have you got them moving next to you?
I've got a question. Are hundreds of thousands of people getting into this country illegally every week?
Probably not hundreds of thousands, no.
Right. Are thousands of people getting into this country
It's in the
illegally?
hundreds every day they're coming in.
Okay. So let's take that.
Illegally.
But what's our population?
I don't know, but they're coming in. Let's talk about illegals coming over in boats that they've paid about $5,000 for.
Yeah.
Legally chaperoned by the RNLI, who do call-outs to save people, but they're doing it in French waters. What's all that about?
Because the French don't want to know.
Well, we're paying them a lot of money. 2 of the policemen were assaulted trying to stop them.
Yeah.
Then they went and had a big party after, all the policemen there, because that's been found out as well. Let's have a party while the migrants go over in the boats.
Right. A long time ago in this broadcast, John mentioned roadworks, and that's my in after we've been on the right wing for a few moments to actually talk about Victoria, the Victorians, and the program on television called What the Victorians Gave Us. And what the Victorians gave us was our plumbing system, sewage systems, and underneath the streets of our towns and cities, there's mile upon mile of pipe. And the unfortunate thing is, just like concrete, it's crumbling and it has to be replaced. At the moment, it is Devizer's turn. And basically, the workmen have come along and they started with a section of the road like that, and now they've got a section of the road like that, and they're actually replacing all the drains and water pipes. And that's brought the centre of Devizes to a standstill. And the weird thing is they've got fencing all the way around so that people can't walk onto the bit that's been sorted. And they have basically covers on the fences, metal fence, to actually dampen the sound. Yeah. So when you're walking past, you don't get the full blast of the sound. The unfortunate thing is that if you take a chain of 10 fences linked together, only 7 of them have got cladding on. So then if you stand in front of one of the 7, you're actually protected. If you don't, you can hear the full racket. It just seems very strange, but it's going to last for months. And the local newspaper, of course, I was out for a good story. Decided to publish that Devizes is not a place to go shopping at the moment, and that all the shopkeepers are up in arms. They're losing trade. They're going to go out of business. And if you're in the sticks and you're coming into Devizes, don't do it. Go somewhere else. At which our retailers said, well, they can't say bollocks, but they would have done, because they're quite happy. They're actually still selling, even given the works that are going on. They're doing okay. They want people to come to Devizes. In fact, Devizes is now safer than it was because roads are actually closed to traffic. I don't know. Anyway, that's the story from Devizes.
Well, we've now implemented our bus zones and we're kind of ULEZ zones, and the city is deserted, absolutely deserted. people shutting down left, right, and centre. And my friend went out last Sunday and he just sat there. I said, "You need to film it." He phoned me up and he says, "You're not going to believe this. It's Sunday morning." And he says, "I've just sat across in a cafe or something watching the cars going into the bus lane. And I think it's about £100 fine a time." He said, "I've just watched 10 of them go through, one after the other, because I didn't realise, you know. There's plenty of signs now, but people still don't realise. It's a nightmare. Before I go into the city now to go somewhere, I have to say, right, what route will I take? Can I go through here? Can I go there?" It's a big loop round to get the big shopping centre. And it's a bit of a nightmare. So, and I haven't been on my bike for ages either. I need my transport just now for business. I've got a Euro 6 van though, so that's okay. All my vans are Euro 6. But it's just, when the city sees everybody going out to the outlying towns and the tears are running down their cheeks because they're not getting the revenue, you can look in the mirror and say, it's our own fault. Back to you.
It is self-inflicted, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in the planning department of the city, who are eco-friendly. Most towns are eco-friendly now.
Yeah, and they'll wonder why everybody's getting delivered like so Amazon. By the way, is Amazon now charging you for deliveries even if you've got Prime?
No.
I thought they were. I thought there was a charge because I've got Amazon Prime. I'm not happy with them because I think I've got about 3 accounts. And what a job trying to get your passwords and everything from them. Another nightmare. I've got a business account as well. So, yeah. So that's where you live. The city's design. I must film it for you Monday. Would you want to see that?
Yeah.
I'll go down and have a coffee and watch it. My city deserted. Oh, your parcel. Okay.
John's the one who gets parcels. What's going on?
Delivered.
Okay. All good.
I think the parcels that we were going to get this week came yesterday, so
yeah.
So
I got on I've got a due delivery address for my business. And they sent me a thing. Yeah, we'll deliver it between 6 and 7. Yeah, sure. The store shuts at 6. So he decided to leave. You know what I do? And it could be anything that turns up. He left it with a firm in a different park. Aye, an industrial park. Could you take this?
Right.
I phoned him up and said, why is he leaving my stuff with somebody I don't even know? Crazy. DPD, I'll name him. Useless.
Okay. Right. When did you last renew your passports, gentlemen?
Mine ran out years ago, and I've not done anything about renewing it.
I done mine, I think it was last year, because I was hoping to go to Berlin, remember?
Yeah.
And I got a British passport. British,
right?
No, I'm a UK citizen.
Yeah.
I'm
proud of being British too. We're going to Germany in December for Christmas, and we're going to Australia in February. So I needed to renew my passport. And the story begins. So you go online, you find out how can you renew your passport, and this is a story in 3 parts. First part is that you can go to certain post offices, and they will do everything for you. They will take your photograph, you fill in your application for a new renewal passport on the iPad. They check it, they send it off, but it's been pre-checked. So at the other end, nothing needs to happen. They've got your passport straight away. It's simple and straightforward. It's the easiest way to do it. Now, not every post office can offer this service. So on Tuesday, we went to Melksham, which is about 30 minutes away, and with the purpose of going to the post office to renew my passport. I had my old passport with me. I had me. That's all you need. And got into the queue at the post office, about 10 people in front of me, and waited my turn, got to the counter, and I said, "Can I renew my passport, please?" She said, "No, we've got a problem. The lighting in the post office is not good enough to take your photograph. You've got two options. Go and get your photograph taken somewhere else and then bring it in, or apply online." It's just crazy that if you go to the Melksham post office website, it says you can get a passport here. No, you can't. Yeah, the service of actually hand holding, which would have been good, just because you don't want any hassle with your passport, that would have been nice, but it wasn't available, and because of the lighting, weird.
Yeah.
Which brings me on to part two. So I had to get a photograph taken, and I went to Timpson's in Devizes, and they produced this. Okay, I don't know whether you can see it or not.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're there. That's me. That's the official photo for the next 10
And
years.
you're not smiling either.
You're
You're not
not.
allowed to. You're not allowed to smile. But the service, I'm just going to say this, that Timpson's provide professional service. They do it regularly. They've got it off to a T, because what you do, you go in, they've got a stand they can put behind you, and then you can bring a stool to sit on, and then they've got a DSLR camera. They take 3 snaps, and then they go to it's all Wi-Fi enabled, Bluetooth as well. They can give you a printed photo, and also, and this is where we've changed, they give you a reference to an online storage of the photo. So when you are filling in your passport, all you need to do is put the reference in. I think that's quite swish.
Yeah, very good.
They do take photos taken on your phone now.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell my story, John.
I know. I'm just saying that they do take that, but the rejection rate is high because they're just not done in the way they need to be done.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Timpson's was for 3 photographs and the electronic side of things, and a perfect mugshot was £11.
No, that's excellent, really, if you consider the light of things, don't you? You know, £11 is nothing to the things in this day and age.
No, I thought it was a bargain, and he was very professional. So that's why I'm recommending Timpson's and Devizes for your passport photos.
Yeah.
It's the whole
Talking about monies, 1st of October is the day you pay your rent, or within a few week or two, for the forthcoming year, and you get 12 and a half months notice, because they always release it just after the next year's fees, just after September the 20th, because it's based on the RPI. Yeah. And the August RPI comes out on September the 20th. Well, I've got people screaming about how much the increase is, etc. But they've known, because it's been published since a year ago. I mean, it's a year ago on 21st of September. That increase is ridiculous. But they've known for over a year, and people are quite offensive. Yeah, the poor lady at the allotment, she does her very best to ensure that everybody does get the 12 months notice they're supposed to get.
Yeah.
So a standard plot for a working person, not a pensioner, is going up from £97.50 to £110, which is based on the fact it was 9 and a bit percentage RPI last year. Right. The problem, of course, is that for the previous 3 years, 5 years, they've had an agreement that it will only go up by £1 a year. But now we've hit reality, and people are up in arms. But they've had 12 months warning, and you think to yourself, if finding £110 is going to be a problem because it's £12.50 more than it was last year, why haven't you been putting a tenner a month away for the last 12 months? And you just think, why do you make these statements? And you know what, full well, when you look at the people who are making them you've met, it's not a problem, 110 quid. And if you're a pensioner, it's £57 a year for a standard plot. Standard plot's quite big. But you just can't believe that these people make a fuss when they've had all the notice in the world. Or did they just not bother to read the notice? Because when you get the notice, it says this year's rent, and next to it, it says next year's rent. So the 2024 rents will be in this year, which of course will be based on the RPI, which is estimated to be 8.5% for August.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all going to have a fit then, because their plot's then going to cost them £122. And yet you think to yourself, there's 130-ish allotments in the Birmingham area, and there's over 7,000 people on those allotments. And you wonder to yourself, do they look at this in reality? Because for a pensioner, that's £4.75 a month for a hobby that many of them take up 3 or 4 days a week. And you just think, are you in the real world? 15 years ago, a plot used to be £27 a year, but everything has rocketed from 25 years ago.
Is the allotment society profitable?
Right. The allotments are owned by the council. The council own the allotments. The local association collects the rents on behalf of that, and we get 10% for collecting it. So this year we'll get about, our rents are about £840, £8,400. So we will get £840, which we can spend in whatever way we want as our commission for collecting it. But we'll collect them in October, but we won't get our 840 quid because we're not allowed to keep it, which is what everybody wants to do, is pay 90% to the council. We don't get our 10% till May next year. But that's been like that for years. So everybody's used to it. Our allotment is just 100 and I think there's 107 or 108 plots on our allotment, and the council gives us as a committee a sum of money in addition to that £800, which is just under or just over the £2,000 mark, based on a few factors like the cost of some bits and pieces like water. But we have to pay the water bill out of that £2,000, and our water bill is more than £2,000, which means we end up doing fundraising just to tread water on the costs of running the allotments.
And selling, so that's why you've got the shop, to sell produce and sell.
The shop's a service, really. It doesn't make profit. I mean, we probably we buy at a discount, and then we add a margin of about 10% on to cover the costs of running the shop. It's electricity and all that sort of thing, and so the shop covers its own costs. It doesn't make a profit to go to the running of the allotments. We do have a membership fee, which this coming year will be £10.50. But it's not even £1 a month, is it? So next year it will be £1 a month as a member. But for that, you get your insurance. So if you stick the fork through your foot and you can't go to work, you can make a claim. You won't get what you get fully paid, but you can get something. And if you strim and you've put a stone through somebody's car window, that's covered on the insurance. So, you know, people running a telephone exchange today.
Yeah. Okay.
The allotments are a good thing, but you've got to accept that you're going to have to pay your way with them today, whereas they were dirt cheap 20 years ago.
Yeah. Hmm.
And also, the landlord has just lost a court case where 760 million was awarded against him, which will then be accumulating interest. They made a loss on the games, that were held in Birmingham last year. And generally they're about $1 billion overdrawn or unable to finance, about $1 billion, which is why they issued what's called a Section 114 last week, which means that they only have to pay things considered to be life-threatening, urgent, etc., which makes us all wonder, are we going to get our money to run the allotments?
Yeah. I mean, certain monies are protected, but others are discretionary, aren't they?
Well, it is basically only services to do with keeping things alive and making sure people's homes are habitable there. And, you know, is the allotments that critical? The answer is it isn't.
There's quite a few councils who are actually heading towards that situation where they don't have enough to actually keep the town or city running. And some of them is because of investments they've made, bad investment, which is just
yeah, but Birmingham has known for years that they were going to end up in trouble over equal pay.
Yeah.
And now the SH1T has literally hit the fan, and suddenly they've got to find 760 million to pay to employees. So, you know, they knew it's going to come one day, but there's lots and lots of digs, and I'm not talking who's doing them, but lots and lots of digs about the fact it's a Labour-controlled authority. And how can a Labour-controlled authority bury its head in the ground on a topic like equal pay for women?
Yeah. How long has it been Labour?
Oh, donkey, years and years and years. I couldn't tell you when it was last Conservative controlled, if it ever was. I mean, you got to think, I mean, you used to live just south of Birmingham, so you must have a reasonable idea of the geography. The moment you go over the border, so to speak, into Birmingham, so Acock's Green from here, Labour controlled. Yeah. Yardley, Labour controlled. Sparkbrook, Labour, because they're all, I won't say poor areas, because that's just not true. Acock's Green is reasonably good standard of living.
Yeah.
But some of the areas, you know, are diabolical due to lack of investment.
Right.
So we have Yardley, which is where my son lives, literally less than a mile inside Birmingham from Solihull. So you've got Solihull boundary at the bottom of the hill, and the hill goes up, and all up the hill is Birmingham. And his local MP is a woman called Jess Phillips, who knocked out the Liberal Democrat for that area. And I've always considered her to be a mouthy, ignorant. I can't use the word I'd like to use. Yeah. But of late, I think she's matured, and actually, she seems to be a pretty good damn MP. A bit more effective, than much as I hate to say this, than John, the previous MP, because he pretty much ran out of steam. Yeah. So she started as a young, I mean, she's only young for an MP, and she started gobby and mouthy, but now has realised that she needs to be a bit more mature and gain a bit more respect. And she's doing a damn good job, as I hate to say it. She's Labour, of course.
She is, yes. Yeah, and Keir Starmer's going on tour. He's going to Canada and to France.
Who's Keir Starmer? Who is he? Come on, he's not exactly the shining star, and he doesn't create the momentum that our former allotmenteer did. He had the role before him. I just think he's a weak link, to be honest. I can't ever see him being Prime Minister. Just a personal opinion.
Right, Rita, I'm going to bet you 5 cents that Keir Starmer is Prime Minister next year.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to tell you something, right? You know how good I am at predictions, like GB News, for instance. How good I was with that. I do not think Sir Keir Starmer will be the Prime Minister. Why? They've got a big problem with ULEZ. Now, if you look at the ULEZ map, there's now beginning to be more black than there is red. Reds are active ones. Black are the ones that have been cut down. It's quite interesting map to look at. His big thorn in his side, his Achilles heel, is ULEZ and the Greens, all that sort of stuff. People will not vote because although it's in London, it's coming to a city near you, maybe even a town near you shortly. And people will not vote for something like that. It's taking more money out of their pocket, depriving them of their cars. And you don't hear much from Sir Keir. And I think it'll be a problem. Now, there's a problem with Rishi Sunak. He might not be the Prime Minister. He might be evicted, get his term to be put up because he wasn't elected. And at this moment in time, the Tories are doing everything they can to win that election, but it might not be Prime Minister Sunak. I think he might be overthrown shortly because there's a lot of darkness behind the scenes. But it's the only two parties, and they've both got their faults at the moment. I'll tell you who will win. The party that really gets a grip with immigration, whether you like it or not, right? The party that is seen to get a grip of the immigration, especially the unlawfuls, the red walls will back them. That's why they got in first place. That's why we got 80 seats, because the red wall backed them to do that job, right? And they've been failed.
They have.
And that is the problem. Nobody.
So who's best positioned to deal with the boats? Because that's the big topic at the end of the day, is the boats.
Well, one of the things...
So if President Macron fixes that, can he be Prime Minister next year?
Well, I don't think he'll be Prime Minister. He gets more booze than he gets applause nowadays when he goes to football stadiums and things. I've seen it. And they're booing him now. And there'll be anarchy on the streets of Paris shortly, I would think. Belgium got it. Did you know Belgium's the only one that stopped it? Did you know that?
Sorry, I missed a beat. Stop what, Peter?
Belgium has stopped their immigration problem.
Boats.
Yeah, boats. They've stopped it. Why can a lot of countries like look it up? I don't know the full story, but Belgium have stopped it. Yeah, well done, Bel. I thought you were good for. Well, I won't say. I thought you were only good for making chocolate, but well done, the Belgiques.
They put beer as well.
Yeah, beer.
Yeah.
And so whoever I'll tell you who we need to resurrect out of the grave is Maggie Thatcher. There's no way Maggie Thatcher would have let this carry on like this. She would have been onto that European people and said, they're a fickle lot, those Europeans. She would have said to them, now you listen here. We will be out of the EHCR tomorrow morning if you do not stop interfering with our business and our rights in this country. What do you think Maggie would have done, guys?
She'd have put boats down there, wouldn't she? And
Well, we've talked about the European Court of Human Rights. I agree with the principles of the court, and I don't see why we should throw it out.
Here's another thing. Once we're on about national, what's happened to the proms? Somebody outside had putting out European flags, Royal Britannia. Some of the songs were taken out because the conductor would have felt bad. And she says, I didn't say that. Do you remember that?
I know the right wing are up in arms about the number of EU flags shown.
It's a disgrace. Disgrace. Just leave us alone to be British for a while. Stop interfering. It's traditionally a British night, not a European night. It's British. Leave us alone.
Well, talking about Europe, there's a series of programs on iPlayer.
Yeah.
By Tom Kerridge called Inside Hospitality. Yeah. And I watched one yesterday about a beautiful concept where they've got basically domes in a wood on the edge of a loch in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
And the woman who runs them said she has a real problem in staffing them.
Yeah.
Because she's 2 miles from the border with Ireland and she can't employ people from the other side of the border without massive amount of work. So now she employs people from South Africa because that's easier than employing people from Ireland.
Yeah.
So they all come over on a sponsored deal.
Well, it's the same as my sister works in a nursing home and she's got loads of people. I think it's Nigeria. And they get flown over, they get accommodation, they stay there. And she says they absolutely hate it. They need the money, but she says they absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
So
I think that's
the position we're in.
Issue, isn't it, though, you know?
Sorry?
This is that somebody can live 2 miles away and she can't employ them.
Do you know who to blame for that?
Rules.
Do you know who to blame for that?
Yeah. You,
because
you're a militant Scotsman, and you forced us all to leave. It's right. I don't think it's true, Peter. I don't think you're that militant. You didn't force us to vote, but I voted to stay. So
yeah,
remain, I think, is the official term.
Yes.
I would have been happy. I voted leave. I just want us to be British, and still have reciprocal agreements. You know.
But it ain't worked, has it? No,
yeah.
Really honest.
I've got full insurance. If I come to Germany and everything, I've got full insurance, which I've paid for personally. I do. Stephen, is there a reciprocal agreement with Germany for health? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. John's saying we've got to go.
Okay.
I'm not. I was waving to his better half, who opened the door and waved at us.
Oh, I feel like I never noticed.
We'll hold that question over till next week. John,
I didn't realise it was 10:59. I was just being polite, waving back.
How dare she come into my wave? Yeah.
She's definitely a better half.
Can I just say to you, Sheila's the biggest pacifist going. I could prod her with sticks and everything. She wouldn't do nothing.
Okay. Well, I guess it is over to me. I hadn't at all realised it was 11 o'clock. So I wish Peter put that phone on silent mode.
Oh, I'm sorry. If I don't do that, I can't.
So it's goodbye from me in the West Midlands on a very drab and rainy day. It's goodbye from my man in Scotland who's looks as if he's got sunshine on him. And it's goodbye from my friend in Wiltshire with his extremely bright shirt. Goodbye.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm just going right away, guys. I'm too busy.
Okay, take care.
I'm not
See you later.